Now, New York's 9th District voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump back in 2016, and has had a history of electing Republicans. So they're a very conservative district. However, that ended last night. Huffington Post reports that Democratic candidate Christine Pellegrino crushed Republican Thomas Gargiulo with a vote of 58 to 42. That is a 16-point lead. That is huge. That is huge. Now, this of course was a race in New York for the state assembly. So this is, again, politics is local. So this is a local race that happened in New York politics. Now, the seat Pellegrino won on Tuesday had been held by Republican Joseph Saladino. Now, Saladino resigned earlier this year after being appointed to a different office. So that's why we had this special election. Now, to show you how big of an upset this race is, Saladino had previously defeated his Democratic opponent, Brendan Cunningham, in 2016 by 37 points. Damn. So, again, just to show you how reliably conservative this district is, they vote for conservatives. To be fair, in 2012, in 2008, they did vote for Barack Obama as a district, but locally, they voted for Republicans. It's a very solid red district. Now, when Pellegrino won, Cunningham, who ran before, sent this tweet, quote, "Something is happening. Big congrats to Christine Pellegrino. I'm flipping this conservative assembly district. I got 31% in 2016. All right. Now, again, they seem to elect conservatives locally, but they can switch. They went from Obama to Donald Trump in 2016. So, now, it's very important, too, to remember that Pellegrino is the first Democrat to serve in this seat on the assembly. Before, again, it was always held by Republicans. Now, so why did she prevail while no one else could? Is it because Donald Trump is so toxic that he's poisoning the party? Well, that's a possibility, and I think that's kind of a factor to this. But it also could be that the fact that she ran as a progressive. Now, they are very progressive in New York, of course, but she was a, well, okay, let me give you some details about her. Now, Pellegrino is a former elementary school teacher by trade, so she gave up teaching in order to run for office. And she also served as a delegate for Bernie Sanders at the DNC convention. Now, she was also a leader of Long Island activists, which formerly was Long Island for Bernie. So she was a big Bernie Sanders supporter. So, again, she was a delegate for Sanders, big progressive. Might have had something to do with how she crushed in an area where a lot of normal Democrats couldn't compete. Now, also, she was backed by Labor, the Working Families Party, of course, which also backed Senator Sanders. Now, again, backed by labor unions, so she had a lot of progressive support. Now, after her win, she simply said this, quote, this is a thunderbolt of resistance. Absolutely. Now, you also had Bill Lipton, state director of the Working Families Party, telling reporters Tuesday night that, quote, bold populism that puts working families issues front and center. This is how we win in Trump country. This is a lesson for Democrats across the country. Turns out, when you run on a bold progressive platform, you happen to win. In most cases, at least, even in Republican districts. Now, this could be the beginning of a wave. I mentioned before, Donald Trump's at a 35% approval rating. He's in the dumps, man. He's not doing very well. He's not a very popular. He's a disaster. He's sad. And the Republican Party is also incredibly unpopular, but so is the Democratic Party. In fact, the Democratic Party is less popular than Donald Trump. But when you run as something other than your standard corporate Democrat, and you actually show that you care about the people, and that you care about the people, your constituents, and you care about the issues, you care about things like Medicare for all, you care about things like a living wage, and affordable college, and all these different issues. When you show you care about these issues, well, people take notice, even Republicans. Because Republicans also, a lot of voters, they don't want the corporations and the rich screwing them over. They don't want, huge amounts of money in politics. They actually want Medicare for all. In fact, there are polls that go back to where a lot of Republicans, the majority, support Medicare for all. So, look, again, when you show up and you actually fight for progressive values, you have a better chance of winning even in Republican districts. So don't say that it can't be done. Now, I mentioned that this could be the part of a wave. Well, we've got other elections coming up, some of them special, some not. In fact, yesterday I talked about Rob Quist in Montana. You also have Paula Jean Swearingen in West Virginia, Dustin Peyer in North Dakota, Stephen Jaffe in California, and many, many others that are running on progressive values. These people are running these campaigns in areas where Republicans normally win, where Democrats don't win. And they're still doing much, much better than you would expect, even in Kansas, super conservative Kansas. There was a race where the Democrat, who was a progressive backed by Bernie Sanders, only lost by 7 points. Come on. And look, some are taking on Republicans, like Christine had, and others are primarying corporate Democrats. So, there are different races going on. Some are primary fights where you're going after the establishment Democrats, and then you're going to go on to crush a Republican. And some are just straight up Republican. And turns out, when you put progressives issues on the ballot, represented by a candidate, well, people will go to that candidate. More people will compared to a centrist, a center-right Democrat versus a right-wing Republican. So, and look, they need your support. All these people need your support. They need support, and they need you to get out and vote. And that's like the most important thing. Don't ignore these special elections. Democrats have been ignoring these special elections for way too long, and they haven't been running in these special elections. They've been letting Republicans take over on the local level. That has to stop. If the National Party and the corporate Democrats don't want to do it, well, then it's up to progressives. All right. Now, I have to remind you, too, that this isn't about just getting a Democratic majority in state and national legislatures. This is also about values. Do we push forward on Medicare for all? Do we push forward on higher wages? Do we actually have action on climate change? Do we do education reform, police reform, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Well, that's the question that everybody needs to start asking themselves. What do we want to do as a nation? And these are the races that decide what we're going to do as a country. And if you get involved and you vote, you can actually decide these races. Or if you even run as a candidate, you can help decide these races. That's why this is called the political revolution, where you actually get involved. It's about getting millions of people out and excited and running for office and voting and actually looking to change the system. This is what real change looks like. And it's about you. You have to get out there too. Everybody needs to get involved if we're going to have any sort of change. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.